few others before my students. I volunteered for the Adaptive program.
Oh, okay, good.
Before the students came, I did a couple runs up to the top. It was great.
Oh, nice. Well, it'll be better tomorrow and even better Saturday.
Oh, I'm excited. Great.
Yeah, very good. I need it.
I don't,
So we have four. We have James Russ on also.
oh, is it? Okay.
Okay.
I believe
There's a couple,
couple of four.
Hi, Charles Meeks, good to meet you.
You too. I'm filling in for Crisanti here today.
Okay, good. You did a good job so far.
yeah.
Nice and warm in here, and we have 3 people in the audience.
Yes, sir. Just let me know if there's anything that you need. All your microphones are already on, and so if you
There
need
you
to
go.
mute it, just go ahead and tap it there.
Once I come back over there, I will take the liberty of convening the meeting since we really don't have.
We don't have a
We
chairperson.
don't have a chairperson. Yeah, I don't know if we have a vice chairperson, but.
No, we need to figure that out today.
That's all it's, that's why I will.
Yeah, I blame Chris for this,
Wait, close to the gavel.
right?
Are we ready? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. A bit unusually in the situation here, I will call this meeting to order in the absence of a chair and a vice chair for that. So with that, I will then have Mr. Camacho do the roll call, and then and then we'll move on from there.
All right. Thank you very much. Roll call for the Workforce Housing Advisory Board. Board Member Meeks. Here. Board Member Allred.
Present.
Board Member Russ.
Here.
Board Member Bakta.
Present.
And Board Member Thomas. I see it's not present, and neither in the waiting room for Zoom. Board Member Dowds. Also not present. And Board Member Kinnan.
Here.
Thank you.
And then next, asking if any of the members have any conflict of interest with items that are on the agenda.
No.
No.
None.
All right, indicating that no conflicts. And then our next item, I will certify that this meeting was advertised in compliance with Resolution 2026-01. And then the next item would ask for approval of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yes. Okay. And the second was all read. All right, so do we need a roll call for that?
It was me.
Oh, it's Bakta, okay. Do we need a roll call for the approval of the minutes?
I don't recall if you typically do that formality or not.
I think we generally
Just
vote
do,
We
by
vote.
voice.
okay.
Okay. Board Member Meeks,
Second.
all read? Or, I'm
Yes.
sorry, we just go with the
We just go with the
second?
second.
Motion approval, you second it.
Yeah, I second it.
Okay.
That's it.
And that's it?
All in
And
favor?
then, all, yep, just all in favor, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Indicate by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next item would then be approval of the minutes from the November 20th, 2025 meeting.
Oh, gosh, that's a long time ago.
Make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All approve?
Aye.
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 Okay, then moving to the new business items. This would be the discussion of the 2026 meeting dates, which would have been included in your packet. Any discussion around those? I do believe that we already took the liberty of the November 2026 meeting, being sure that does not conflict with our National Day of Thanksgiving holiday. And with that, would entertain any motion that,
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 okay, we have now reached the spot where where we will elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson. As the board should be aware that Mr. Oberhue did resign from this body because of his additional work responsibilities. So we therefore do officially have an opening for a chairperson. And so we would entertain any nominations.
Deborah.
James isn't here. Nathan isn't here.
I'm here.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, we'll make James chairman.
Yeah.
All right, hey guys, sorry about that.
There we go.
I'm good with being chair if you guys are okay with it. I have a busy schedule, but I think I've been able to commit to this group always. So it's, as long as you guys are okay with my attendance, I'm happy.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I approve.
Your attendance as far as not being here or never being here?
No, just meaning that if you look at my record of attendance, I've always made this a priority, definitely.
Okay, great. Welcome aboard.
Thank you,
All right.
guys.
Would ask for an official nomination and second, please.
I nominate James Russ for the position of chairperson.
And then is there a second?
I'll second it.
I second that.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
At this point, sir, I will then remove myself and let you chair the remainder of the meeting.
Thank you. As I'm in Washington DC, if you could cover for me on this meeting, that would be great.
Okay, we can do that. We'll elect a vice chair, and we'll let that vice chairperson be the chairperson
Okay.
then. For
Thank
the
you
remainder
very
of the meeting.
much.
Sure.
Otherwise,
All
it
right.
would be confusing for everybody. I'm
That's
sure
fair.
of it.
All right. I will then entertain any nominations for the position of vice chair.
Well, I will
Come
tell
on,
you,
Cecile, you can do it.
No.
Well, I can do vice chair, guys, if you need me to.
I was just
so,
thinking
you know.
about you, Nathan.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get this rodeo going. So do I need a nomination? Anybody?
I nominate Nathan Thomas for vice chair.
Second it.
Perfect. We have a second. All right.
All right.
All in favor? Perfect. I appreciate that, you guys. So without further ado, let's get rolling. So I apologize for my tardiness. I believe we already had we called the order, the meeting to order, and we were in the call to order. Is that correct? And roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we don't have any declarations of conflict of interest, and are we in certification of compliance with resolution number 2026-01?
Yes. So we are at item 6C is where we are.
Perfect, okay, so new business, looks like discussion and possible action, 2026 calendar year meeting dates. So we'll go ahead and start with that.
We're on letter C. Is where it is. Yep, so,
okay.
yep.
We just move right along. So D, update on 603 meeting.
Nope, first letter C.
Discussion on
Update
105.
Discussion on 105, 107 El Paso.
Perfect, let's do that.
All right, can do. So we got a phone call from the owner of this property. This is the Nob Hill Inn Lodge. I'm not sure what hotel, what was property that has been vacant and undergoing redevelopment with that. And so the developer is looking for some use options and funding options with that. And so wanted to bring it officially forward to this board for any thoughts that you may have as to whether we should pursue a project there in regard to developing some workforce housing options. Mr. Gomez is present here. He does not have an actual official, presentation or something, or a offer to make toward the board, just looking to, again, start a conversation, if the board is willing to engage in that being a possibility for, another option for workforce housing here in the village.
Is this a motel currently, or?
Yeah, two-story.
It's been vacant for
Could you come up and sit at the table and speak in the microphone so we can be sure everybody can hear out there? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is Eugene Heathman. He's the real estate guy in the transaction here. But yeah, it's been vacant for about 3 years. We had kind of a bad go, it was a bad go with the contractors. So it took a little bit of time to get through that process.
Can you speak
Oh,
a
a little
mic
closer,
so the
yeah.
guys on Zoom can hear?
I was invited to come before you guys today just to see what kind of options there might be out there to do any type of partnership on this project to try to get it to the finish line. It's been an unfortunate situation for all the transients in town.
Yes.
They've moved in and we've had to evict them many a times. And it's something that I need to either get off my books or move forward with another idea. Originally, it was designed to be a boutique motel. We did explore the option to convert that from a boutique motel into some one-bedroom apartments, small apartments. It'd be about 450 square feet. Single bedroom with an equal amount of exterior space, really nice patios. We're about 50% completed with the project. New plumbing, electrical, heating and cooling. But that's where it's at.
And how many units would be in there if it was a 450 square foot?
Yeah, so the boutique motel was going to be 16 individual rooms, plus a 2-bedroom apartment and a single bedroom apartment downstairs. With the conversion to 1-bedroom apartments, we now have 9 1-bedroom apartments and a 2-bedroom apartment.
Well, I think it's a perfect location, being on the bus. Well, we don't have a bus route. Sorry about that. But it would be convenient for hospital, close to the hospital. They can walk up to the Walmart. Gosh, that would be great if that can be made into additional affordable housing.
It occurs to me that most of the locations that we have been involved with or are working on right now have involved public and private partnerships. And the public part of that had to do with the provision of land, utility, infrastructure items, and then typically the private part of that came from business in terms of contributing construction and potential operation of that. How closely, you said you don't really have anything in mind, but could you describe a framework that might parallel that model that we've used in the past?
Well, I'm completely novice to what you
Okay.
guys are doing, so I really don't, I'm not prepared to
Right.
jump into any one direction. I was really hoping just today that Eugene and I could both gather as much information from you guys on what possibilities may be available out there, and then we can start doing some legwork to, pursue any one direction that you think might be feasible.
Do you have any ADA-capable units?
Yeah, we had 2 designed in the original plan on the lower level.
Okay.
With that in mind, that we could actually convert all the lower levels to ADA.
Okay. Asbestos remediation?
There was no asbestos. Yeah, we
Okay.
had it all tested.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I'd like to add. Eugene Heathman with Remax Classic Commercial Group is Dr. Allred made reference to infrastructure and part of that public and private partnership. I guess we can call it the nuts and bolts, the 50% that is complete, as Mr. Gomez alluded to earlier, has to do essentially with infrastructure, new sewer, new plumbing, all permitted, all approved, pre-approved through some earlier permitting processes, electrical, heating and cooling systems. So basically the 50% remaining would be directed toward either this concept or something else that the market may bear.
I would also be curious about your thoughts, if you've entertained any notions to this end, but we typically have had our present projects under the operation of a local realty firm. Have you given any thoughts to that? I don't know whether it would work well to fold a new project into the existing arrangements. Do you have any concerns? Any thoughts about that?
Is that for placement of people or for the actual sale of the building or managing of that?
The management of the property.
Yeah. So I guess
and
Eugene would be just.
the lease and rental day-to-day operations.
Because you're just a realtor on the property to sell it.
From the management standpoint, I really don't see a problem with transitioning to the
Because currently I understand
the
that.
public management program in place.
Yeah, that the realtor we have here, they receive applications from,
Right.
possible tenants, and they just go through them when the place is ready, they go through and say, you still looking for a place? No, I found one, okay, the next one, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
if there's
Kind of
already a
manage.
channel in place for that'd be excellent. And, my role would be, in the acquisition due diligence process.
Would you do property management, I guess is what I'm getting at?
I do property management, but if that would be more or less a condition to make things easier down the road, so to speak, following completion, if there's a mechanism in place, I would favor that mechanism.
On a deal like this, Alex, how would you structure it as far as, where would the public piece come in from?
You hit sort of my questions in my own mind and concerns, and I think that Dr. Allred also brought up, is this would be a different type of project than the village would be used to doing. So we would have to, at this point, I would say, if we if this board is comfortable with perhaps pursuing partnering or pursuing this as a project that the village would possibly support financially or completely bring into our portfolio as the other projects or somewhere in between, that we would then take that as your role as the advisory board. I would take that further up the administrative food chain here in the village, and then see what our next steps might be toward doing that, toward hashing out some kind of agreement.
Yeah, so Alex, I appreciate that clarification. I'm just going to jump in because, guys, I really, I feel like our facet in this is absolutely to identify potential workforce housing solutions for the community, but to make a recommendation for consideration to the council. And while we have some, minor specifics on the property, I think we would really need to know, per kind of what Steve was saying, is just price points. He hasn't really had a chance to kind of put together on pencil on, what are they wanting to offer the property for, so we can make a more advanced recommendation to the village council. Right now, we don't really have any parameters of what is it, $1 million, $2 million, what are we even looking at for price points, to would that even fit the financial requirements or whatever that we're chartered out to do. So I think that, personally from my side, I think it's something to certainly entertain and look at. But I would like to see specifically what is being presented to us in the sense of most of our projects are in kind. We donate the land or something with the developer. This project, we would have to be buying the asset and taking over the remaining cost to finish it out to our specific needs or the needs of the community. So what is that initial cost price point, I think, is really what we'd be after on this.
Yeah, good point, Nathan. Yeah, I was gonna say, this might be putting the cart before the horse kind of deal.
Yeah.
See what we want to do, and then we can actually put some meat on it and propose something or not propose something.
Yeah, and by no means am I deterring anything, you guys. I want to make that clear. I just think we need some more specifics before we could, make a recommendation to council as far as, here's what we've been presented, here's a potential property that's being identified, similar to previous properties that approached. We kind of put the package up once we do our kind of vamping, if you will. So anyways, just my 2 cents on it.
Would the hospital be interested in going along with this project? Since I know when I go visit my doctor, they always have a traveling nurse who has to commute from Alamogordo. Would this be something they would be interested in, the hospital, in being partnered with?
There are current discussions with Presbyterian Health Services and their realty management company, for that, but that's all it is at this time is entry-level discussions. And to Mr. Thomas's point, I think Mr. Gomez and I are here today, to open the conversation, and we would be more than happy to perhaps be a little more officially placed on a future agenda, with a presentation, with where we're at and what the finished costs would be, what the acquisition and, the contributions from the private versus public would be. And we wanted to do that today before just barnstorming into a meeting with something of that nature.
To Nathan's point, I think, it would have to pass an independent appraisal, and that is the only thing that we would be restricted by is what we could pay for. Let's say you come in at $5 million I'm just throwing a number out there, and the appraisal only comes back at 3. It'd be very hard to make a deal at that point because the appraisal is saying it's only worth 3, not 5. So we'd have to take that into consideration as well. We couldn't pay more than what the appraisal says.
Absolutely. And this project too is also a bit unique to some of the current affordable housing projects because those are kind of from the ground up with new development and bringing in the housing. This is essentially finishing an existing redevelopment project. So the dynamics of that would certainly be subject to appraisal and then following different type of accounting for the village as well with cost segregation of the improvements and such. And one benefit to it is the infrastructure is in place. So there's a timeline that I think would be favorable. It's already been permitted, it's already been inspected. Most of that's been approved, so it's basically a finished project.
There are 2 points that I'd add to this conversation. And the first one is, by statute, public entities cannot pay above an appraised price. So just to make sure that that's out there and understood, if indeed we were looking at a possible purchase. The other thing is that this group has looked at similar properties in the past that really didn't get much farther than just this discussion stage. So please know that while it stands in contrast to the existing projects that are in place, it's, in my mind, not beyond the realm of possibility in terms of whatever arrangements might evolve from this conversation.
I think we need to look at everything since we have such a shortage of affordable housing. And I know last week at the meeting, at one of the meetings on Monday, we discussed that, the schools have lost a lot of families, kids, because there is no affordable housing for them. So if we can move forward one step at a time to ensure that there is housing available, we can bring the workers back to this town.
And to that point, I would add, there are people on this committee that remember 3 very frustrating years where almost no progress was made. Mm-hmm. And then steps were made, steps were completed, and we actually have matters that are in operation that we can point to with pride. But in those 3 years, in that frustration, there was a lot of looking around, there was a lot of alternatives considered, and this committee was very open-minded to different types of projects. So, given the past of the committee, I think we really do need to take a further look at this.
Yeah, I'd say come back with a more complete proposal and pitch it again.
Well, I'd be interested in a more developed proposal, but I'd also be interested in perhaps a feasibility review done by the village in terms of what might be possible, so that the multiple parties could sit down and continue a dialogue.
Okay, so I guess with that being said, Clayton, I'd like to just propose a motion for further discussion and added agenda action item for this committee to review and discuss 105, 107 El Paso Road, and just more in depth, maybe a presentation, some numbers for further consideration.
I didn't quite
I'll
hear
second.
exactly
I'll
what
second.
you, oh, okay, that was a motion?
Yeah.
It was, sorry, yeah.
All right, great.
I'll
All right,
second it.
so motion carries. So, Mr. Gomez, we'd love to have you guys come back at a time if you could coordinate with, Alex, once you guys kind of have maybe a little bit more of a package put together, some numbers, presentation, so we could, put you back on the agenda and kind of explore where else this conversation can go to.
Yep, thank you guys for your consideration.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm guessing you guys meet once a month?
This board meets every other month. Since I didn't have is it the 26th of March? Is that our next scheduled?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So March 26th, but between now and then, we'll get together.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, excellent.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you guys. Okay, so just moving right along to 603 Meacham.
All right, so at our capital projects meeting this morning, the individual structures have been requested for inspection by the Manufactured Housing Division. We don't at this point have we're hopeful that they all passed, but we don't have confirmation that they have passed yet. Another infrastructure item there is the last remaining one of the retaining walls in regard to the foundations. The curb wall for that is going to be poured. It remains to be poured. Hopefully that's happening today before the weather turns. With that, the fencing around the individual units is in progress. It's being planned for as well. With that, I will be cautiously optimistic, going back to that March 26th next meeting date. We may either at that point be ready for occupancy or actually have some occupancy there. So we feel that like I said, I'll be cautiously optimistic. I'm not putting anybody, I'm not making any promises. I'm not putting anybody on the spot for making sure that we hit that date. But based upon what I've been hearing, we should be getting either, like I said, having occupancy at 603 Meacham or very close at that point in time.
What type of fencing is going around each property?
So it's going to be metal fencing, similar to what was on the exterior. Metal privacy fencing. It's privacy/safety fencing. The biggest concern is making sure that we can prevent people either falling down or falling into a unit or falling off where a unit is down the hill. Because there are some significant grade changes on those pads.
Is the manufactured housing approval just for statutory requirement, or is there a reason we have to have them come back?
That is for statutory requirements. So any manufactured house that is placed here in New Mexico does need to have the blessing of the Manufactured Housing Division.
Perfect, that's what I figured, thank you.
Yep. And any other questions? And then I'll move on to The Elk Meadows development, also the update that we got from them this morning. They are on schedule with their plans for construction on that. All of the buildings have been, they said, in the dry, so they are now working interior for those doing the interior improvements there. They have submitted their permit for the driveway connection to DOT for consideration there, and they working with PNM, the electrical design is on the desk of the engineer for her review. And so we're anticipating that will be finalized shortly as well. And the last, not at this meeting, but the previous meeting, it does appear that they are on schedule for occupancy. Best case scenario, late 2026, but also early 2027 would be the possibility. And also preparing for pre-leasing soon for that project. Would also, I guess, going back a little bit, no one asked the question, but it did come in my mind when I said pre-leasing. I believe the list that Berkshire Hathaway has for 603 Meacham is in the mid-50s number of individuals / families that are interested in leasing there. Nothing really to report at 1114 Meacham Drive. That project is what it is there. Board member Kennan did mention the comprehensive plan update. Hopefully most of you have been participating with that. Last week was the week-long workshop charrette. There was a focused meeting for workforce housing that we got some good participation in on. It also was one of the pieces that they hit in their wrap-up presentation on Thursday. So the consultant team is now back in their offices in Texas and Florida, working through what they've heard. We do have a local steering committee, 15 members, give or take, on that group, that they will be getting together monthly to hear back from the consultant, to give feedback to the consultant as to where that plan is going. We're anticipating March, April, where we will have a initial draft of the complete comprehensive plan update for review. And then once we, staff, steering committee, get comfortable with what that document contains, we will then have the consultants back here in person in Ruidoso to present and ask the question, did we get it right in there? Also, there is currently on the specific project website, planruidoso.com. There is information in there where they're going to have many or all of the presentations that were done last week. Either the slide preparations for that or some of those meetings were actually recorded, that they will have those there, as well as an initial survey and likely additional surveys as the project continues to come together and get refined for anyone in the public to take those surveys and give their input and feedback with that. We, the staff, were very pleased with the participation that we had, the number of people that came out, the back and forth that was engaged in with that. And then with that, I would then open it up to the committee members to, if they have anything that they would also like to add from their experience last week, or any questions that you may have.
I think James and I were there on Monday, and you, with the it all comes down to affordable housing. We can't keep going on like this, lose workers moving to other parts of the state without having housing for them. It's, it's a catch-22 here.
Yes, it is. And another piece that is more and more people are seeing, hearing, understanding is everybody comes to community engagement with one or more issues. and more people are understanding the issues are not separate. They're connected, they overlap, they're dependent upon each other being resolved in that. And so it really is having that work its way into this comprehensive plan to a greater degree than I think we have in the past. And also to, again, build bridges and partnerships amongst all those people, all the different people that are stakeholders and committed to getting their particular issues recognized and worked on and resolved as well. Yeah.
So Alex, just quickly with that comprehensive plan, I think that we had a community study, and just really quick, I can't remember what it was, and Clayton, you might remember, but it was like, our goal was, 1,200 units for affordable housing, or between 8 and 1,200, I don't really remember, and I think, today, we're, less than, 150, but with the proposed, new project that we're doing, I think that's 79?
72 is the Elk Meadows.
Yeah, 72. So obviously, we're still quite a ways away, I think, from our ultimate goal, but it's encouraging. The last, I don't know what's it been, 3 years, significant movement and growth towards that goal. So that's been very exciting. But I would maybe like to make a request or a motion, or maybe you can just provide this to us. But I'm just curious over like the next 3 to 5 years. Does this committee, do we have a budget of saying, okay, we're going to try to allocate whatever, $5 million to affordable housing over, so long of a period of time? Or is that just kind of a case by case decision to be made? Or are we working the parameters of, hey, this is how much we have to work with, so we don't, waste time on multiple projects versus saying, well, given the restraints of the budget, we need to focus on a project, every year, or every other year, or 2 projects a year. I'm just not sure if those parameters have been kind of given to you, or if we know where we're working with that.
Yeah, and I'll respond back to that. I did not put that on this agenda, but the strategic plan that you engaged in probably 2024, I would say, wrapping that. So we have our strategic plan, village administrative staff, strategic plan with the council next week. One of the items that is in my strategic plan is in regard to the workforce housing, and that also informs our budgetary requests with that. So 2 parts to that would be wrapping up our strategic plan that would have those things in mind, that would say over the next 5 years, we would like to do these things, which would include, again, having a specific line item in the village budget that would be dedicated toward implementing and either increasing the amount of workforce housing units here in the village, so that we can do that. Definitely open to completing the loop on that, because that again, you like you said, the momentum is trending positively right now, and want to keep that going.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think about village council and their responsibilities. They're actually charged with the formulation of that budget.
Yes.
And while I'm not sure exactly what our role would be, whether we'd have a budget or we would make a recommendation for a target amount of expenditures in the future, or a targeted amount of expansion of units, something along those lines.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's what, just trying to find some more direction on, are we targeting the continued goal of these units as fast as we possibly can, or within a certain time period, or budgetary constraint, or, whatever it is, the direction on that, so we can make sure that we're honed in as we address, future conversations of locations or different projects of, hey, is this fitting the mold of what we're seeking to accomplish, and working within that constraint. So I appreciate that clarification, Alex, for sure.
And, just sitting here, I hadn't really thought about that, but just sitting here thinking about the progress that we have made, if we were to actually chart the additional units over the years, would establish the beginning of a trend that I think this committee would look at that and say, okay, yeah, there's a trend line there, but that's not going to meet our need. It needs to be, and I think we probably could, and with some discussion, come up with a figure, an amount, target of some kind.
Yeah.
I think one of the problems is that, like with the Elk Meadows, there was an investor ready to come and do this project. I don't know how many more we would find.
Yeah, the funding mechanism is, I mean, what,
Yeah,
could it be a lot of different ones, or just one, or maybe the village kick in a little? I was just thinking about the who would be staying there, and we were talking about all the hospitality folks that work here, the younger folks that work at the restaurants and bars for our tourism. And I'm wondering if there's a part of the hotel motel tax that could go towards it. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but that would make sense a little bit, but everybody wants that.
So there actually was at the comprehensive plan wrap-up presentation, it was not lodger's tax that they suggested using toward that, which I don't believe we could at
We
this
cannot
point in
use
time.
lodger's
Cannot use
tax for
lodger's
that,
tax
no.
to support that. The proposal was to use the short-term rental permitting fees and this was something that had been discussed by the planning commission and the folks that when we updated the ordinance and changed raised the permit fee last year. The discussion that they had would be having a portion of that over and above the baseline of the rental or the permit fee. For example, that if we were to say, any units having more than 2 bedrooms would have an additional surcharge based upon the bedrooms they would have. What was the other, or just actually a dedicated percentage of those fees, potentially permit fees, going into a fund to be directed toward using on workforce housing development.
Okay. Well, guys, do we have any further discussion on any of these topics on this agenda here today, or everybody feel pretty good about everything?
if we could magically come up with 800 units, that would be fantastic with the.
It would be. And Seal, to that point, just the last finishing point for me, it's, I've found we've been way more effective partnering with the private developers or village-driven projects. And it's not that, the MFA stuff wasn't awesome, but I don't know if anybody still has nightmares about the whole Mashburn situation.
Yes.
It's like, man, we invested, I don't know how many years of our lives. And I mean, I personally don't ever want to go through something like that again. So, whatever we target, I'm not even looking at Midtown. I'm going to make my opinion very clear that we're going to stay outside of that, in the sense of that was really a tough rodeo for those of us involved. And so, I don't know what the future holds, Alex, but it's like, man, in the last couple of, years, I guess that's when we've been most effective, is village-driven projects. We're partnering with, private developers to get anything really going up here. Because I guess with a point scoring system, MFA require, we just miss out on a lot of those points, I guess, because of logistically how our community's set up, and we just really can't change that, so.
Well, according to the mayor at the Christmas party, he talked about millions of dollars for certain projects. But you can't have this if you don't have housing for those who need it.
Yeah.
And if we keep falling behind, people are going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, 100%. So, definitely continue to identify properties. I'm glad the community's coming to us with potential locations, and but it would just be nice to know going forward what our goals are. Are we meeting those? And you mentioned it, Clayton, with the graph or chart of, hey, statistically we're trending upward, but we're still trending way behind what I think our goal really is. So having some of that would be very useful to say, well, we're this many units away off target over the next, whatever it is, 3 years with a comprehensive plan, or I don't know, being in line with that, what those target dates are. So we know every year we really need this many units to stay on track. So I think that'll be all good stuff to look forward to. So, okay, guys, if there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead at this time entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second, and great job, Nathan. Thank you.
Meeting's adjourned. You got it, man. Be safe in DC.
I'll try.
right. Talk to you guys later. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Knowing this is a small town, I should have made sure everybody knows Mr. Bakta. And
Yes.
if you don't, please introduce yourself. And he's more than willing to tell you about himself.
I think Carrie's done that already. I don't, good seeing you.